Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining the next edition of Reline Live. Today, I've got Heather Spurlino with us from HydraTech Engineered Products. I am going to let her do a little introduction, and then we're going to jump in with a couple of questions for the group. We've got some usual suspects here, but we also have some new people who haven't joined Reline Live, so we want to find out a little bit more about the audience.
Hi, thank you, Kathy. My name's Heather Spurlino, and I'm from HydraTech Engineered Products out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And I'm really happy to be joining everybody today to tell you a little bit about the product and answer any questions you may have. So, like Cassie said, we have a poll, and I'll let her take it from there, and then we'll get started.
Okay, the first question we have for you guys is, have you ever heard of the HydraTech Joint Seal? Sorry, excuse me, HydraTite Joint Seal made by HydraTech. Okay, we've got about 75% of the group voted. I'm going to give it another couple of seconds so we can have a full poll here. Okay, I'm going to close that. So I'm going to share the results with you guys. Looks like 67% Heather have heard of the product, but 33% have not. So that's going to lead me into my next poll question. Since 67% of you have heard of the product, have you seen it installed or have you seen it used on a project? Okay. So far, I'm going to wait a couple more seconds. We have 100% no, Heather.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll learn about that in today's presentation.
Okay, so none of you have seen it installed or used on a project. Well, that's good information for us. Now I'm going to let Heather kick off a little overview on the product. I do already have a handful of questions that you guys have submitted in advance, so thank you for those, but I want to have her give us a brief overview before I start jumping into some of the questions. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. That is not the screen I want to be sharing. Share this screen, and we will go over here. Let's see, everyone should be seeing this slideshow now. Yep, there you go. All right, I'll let you kick it off, Heather.
Okay, Cassie, I just lost you.
You lost me?
I found you again.
Okay.
Okay, I need you to back up. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So everybody, what this is called is called the HydraTight Seal, and it's made by HydraTech, again in Cincinnati, Ohio. And what it's called is called the seal that seals from the inside out.
Cool.
So what we're going to do, we're just going to talk about what the seal consists of, some of the problems. We're going to talk about solutions. We're going to go over some examples. We will go over the installation of the product so you can see how it's installed. And you're also going to see it on some real live examples. And I believe, Cassie, if I'm not mistaken, you have posted the video for everybody to watch to see the installation.
Yep, that's a 7.5-minute video, so we won't watch that whole thing today, but I did post the YouTube link. You guys can use that resource, but it'll also be in the follow-up email. And I did not mention this in the beginning. Those of you that have attended Reline Live, please use that question box on your control panel to submit questions, and that's Heather and I will be answering that in real time over the next 30 minutes.
Perfect, thank you. So what this product does is it solves a variety of products. So it's good for sinkholes because it does prevent that infiltration coming in. Water table also creates problems, and again, infiltration and exfiltration. So by utilizing the seal, it does prevent having these problems. So again, what we're going to be discussing is the seal. So I always ask everybody, what is the internal joint seal? And what it consists of is it's an internal pipe joint seal. It's mechanical, not structural, that is utilized in trenchless repairs of various types of pipe for several decades. So essentially, this was brought to conception in Germany about 60 years ago. And it's been in the United States for over 20. It's been around in our company since 1995 when our company was formed. And that's how long it's been here. So it's very.
That leads me into our first, sorry to interrupt you, that leads me into our first question that multiple people asked when we were talking about questions yesterday, and you and I kind of went back and forth on this. So can this seal be used on all types of pipe? And by all, I kind of went just through the main ones that we run into the most often. So concrete pipe, corrugated metal pipe, clay pipe, ADS pipe, HDPE.
It can be used on all of those types of pipe. However, there's different methods of repair and installation. For corrugated, you would have to fill in the corrugated voids. You would have to use either a rubber filler or a hydraulic cement. With clay pipe, you would need to use a hydro wrap or some other type of structural methods to make sure that the seal didn't crush the sides of the pipe because of the pressure of installation.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. That's one that we, Michael and I, out in the field, definitely get asked that question. And then the other question that we get asked, which we had a contractor come to us and I had to call you, is if we had a joint, let's call it approximately a foot in separation, so 12 inches, would this product work?
It will work. We'll get to another slide.
Okay, do you want me to skip ahead or just kind of go through these first?
Let's go through these first, and then when we get to the slide that shows the spans of the different seals, we'll explain how that would work.
Perfect.
Yes. So the nice thing about this repair method is you have small crew installations. It usually takes between 2 and 3 people on a crew, and that's because you do need confined space. You have minimal flow restrictions. The seal is probably about 1/2 inch to 3/4 in thickness, and that's standard. It doesn't fluctuate with the length or width of the seal. It is customizable because it is made in Cincinnati, Ohio, with all American products. So it is customizable, and it can be utilized for elliptical pipe. So we can manufacture for elliptical, box, any other size shape pipe. It's very quick and easy for installation, and it is cost effective. So those are the benefits of utilizing the internal joint seal versus another repair method. This is a trenchless technology, so it is no dig. It is repaired by many state DOTs. I believe we're certified right now in 7 or 8. And since we've been sitting at home, we actually have been working on getting certified by all 50 states. So we're in the process of doing that right now. It does
on just so everyone knows, because I know we have a couple of DOTs on the call. We are going to be working with you guys on whether this product will fall into a QPL or a certain specification. And so if you haven't heard from Heather and I, you probably will be in the next week or 2.
Very true. Very true. The nice thing is it requires no hot work in the field. Everything that's cut or welded is done in our facility in Cincinnati, and it has a 50-year design or service life. Now, that's not the warranty, but that's the design or service life for this product.
So what is the warranty?
The warranty is actually a year. It's a year if we do installation, and it's a year on materials.
Gotcha. And we're gonna get to an installation question. We're just not quite there yet.
So the physical characteristics of the seal, it's made of, the seal itself is a EPDM rubber, and it has grooves, which I think are hard to see in this picture. And it has a test valve, which an arrow is pointing to it, which is typically not used in storm. It has a rib design, which you can see up by the grooves, and it comes in 3 widths. And then the retaining bands are silver, or excuse me, silver. They're silver. They're stainless steel. They're made out of 304 or 316 stainless steel. They come in either multiple piece bands or one piece, and typically due to the size of the seals, we do ship them in multiple piece for ease of installation. And the bands are flexible, and again, those are also made in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Perfect. So here's where we get to the question about the 12-inch separation.
Okay, so what we have right here, we have our seal sizes. So we have a standard wide, extra wide, and double wide. So what you see, the 11.17, the 14.44, and the 21.4, that is actually the seal width. The joint span, the number underneath it, the 5.75, 9-inch, and 16-inch is your joint span. So the span is what's utilized to fix the repair. And I don't know how clear it is to you folks, but you can see the little ribs by
right
the
here.
5.75. Yes.
Yep.
You can see the ribs. So the 5.75, 9, and 16, that's what actually repairs your difficulty, your joint, right there. So, Cassie, you asked that question about repairing a span of 12 inches separation. Right. You could use that double wide joint seal.
Yep.
Because it goes up to 16 inches, and you would have to have, I believe it's an inch and a half on each side. So you could use that.
Okay. So you would need the double wide for separation that big. So explain to us, Heather, I know you and I have talked about offset versus separation. Can you explain the difference? So when people are looking at their pipes and they're thinking of this product for repair, what are they looking at when it's offset versus separation to figure out if this product could potentially work?
So a separation is where the pipe is just separated, and you have a gap in between your invert of your pipe, or it could be on the top. Your offset is where the pipe is actually offset from each other. Now, the double wide or the extra wide can handle an offset of about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches.
Okay.
So that's with your offset. Now, what we like to say is okay, if you have a video or a tape, please send it to us, because a lot of times it is site or job specific.
Yes.
So it's always best to say, okay, send us a video. We like to say the double wide is about 2 to 3 inches.
Okay.
But again, it's project to project.
I think that answers that question. I've got a couple more, but I know that I'd be jumping ahead, so I'm just gonna hold off until we get to that section. This is obviously a question everyone asks. What's the size range? What's the smallest? What's the largest?
Well, for the HydraTight Seal, we can do 18 inches. And again, remember, this is man entry to 24 feet. I know this says 18 feet, but we just did an install that was 24 feet. And everybody says you can do 18 inches. We actually have some crew guys that get into 18-inch pipe.
Wow.
So 18 to 24.
Little guys.
Smaller than me. So when it comes to installation, again, it's 2 to 3 people, and you have to have confined space equipment. There's something you must either rent or buy off of us, and it's called this expander head, which is on the bottom left of the screen. Then the rest is just nothing but basic hand tools that you can find at Lowe's. That's all you need for your installation.
Well, and that leads me to the next question, which is, what does it take to become a certified installer? Do you guys certify installers? Do you only have your own crews that have to be mobilized?
We can do it both ways. We can come out and train contractors, DOT personnel, city personnel to be certified installers. We can have those folks come to our facility, or we can do the installation ourselves.
Perfect. Okay. Good. So this looks like it's the process of installing.
Correct. This is an install. So the first thing you have to do in an install is you have to prep the pipe joint. And essentially it's just taking either hand tools and wire brush, something like that, chipping hammer, to make sure your pipe joint is clean or wherever you're putting your seal over. Most of the time somebody will vac out if there's heavy debris. They'll vac it out. If not, we do it. The most important thing is making sure where that rib on those seals, where they make the connection, is clean. So that's what you have to make sure you get that achieved. Next thing is positioning the rubber seal. And it just positions in the pipe. It comes folded, just pops into place. You use a lube on there. It's typically something like a blue lube. That's all we use to make sure it stays and it's lubricated so it fits in place. And then after that, you see retaining bands on the bottom left.
Yep.
This is a single piece retaining band. So once he gets retaining bands into place, there's 2 retaining bands on this specific piece of pipe. So once he gets those retaining bands in place, there's something called an expander, which was on that previous slide. Mm-hmm. And then he takes an expander and there's ear tabs. That expander goes between those ear tabs and he expands that out to a certain PSI. And once it's expanded out to a PSI, he'll put a wedge in there, which, Cassie, if you want to go to the next page.
Sure. I see. Okay.
Yes. So you can see him putting the wedge in there. Essentially, that's what holds the seal in place. And then you can order a port to do a pressure test if you would like. You take out the little set screw or port thing, I don't know what you want to call it, and then you do a pressure test. It goes up to 5 psi, and then after you do that, you just check it for leaks using a soapy substance, and that's how you do an install. It's very easy and very quick.
Yeah. So one question I have is, does this affect the flow? How does it affect the flow?
Well, again, you probably only have about 3/4 of an inch or something that has decreased it. So really, you don't have much for anything debris or anything to catch up on the pipe,
So
especially in some applications.
Yeah, from engineer firms or anything, because I feel like they're always asking us how products affect flow.
It would be different if it was utilized for sanitary, because it does have a lip on it, and materials would get caught on that lip. But for the size and diameters you have in storm culverts, there really isn't much of a restriction in flow.
Okay. Thank you for who asked that question.
Yeah, that was a good question. So this slide just shows you some irregular shapes. There's a box culvert. We can also do diving if need be. The bottom right picture has a box culvert with a diver in it. So, and this just shows you some different applications. This is a picture of a joint or a piece of pipe that has multiple seals in it. And what it's trying to show you is we can take the seals itself and make a sleeve. And it's showing you on the bottom how the sleeves are actually interlocked together. So that would be utilized if, say, you needed a point repair, or you had joints that were continuous and you didn't want to line the pipe and felt like you could achieve the sealing it with the joint seal. So those were just locked together, interlocked together.
So Heather, if, for example, let's say you have maybe just a section of a concrete pipe that is starting to flake and separate, but it's not the entire pipe. Let's say it's 25 feet of a 300-foot run. You're saying you can go in and basically just attach them all for one 25-foot section. They can fix the pipe versus slip line the entire 300 feet?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's what that sleeve down there on the bottom of this slide looks like. Yeah. That's what it would look like. Yes.
Very cool. I like that.
Yeah. So, all right. So basically, lining versus joint repair, you line when the entire pipe is bad, and you do joint repair when the pipe is good and the joints are bad. Because joint repair is there's less cost associated with it. It's for sectional repair also, and it's to repair bad joints. So
we did get that question, and I was saving it till the end so we could address it because we always get it. What's an estimated price point when people are thinking of this product for projects? And you and I kind of came up with a number based on, of course, everything is quoted per project because every project's different. But if people wanted to just have a rough estimate in price.
I would say rough estimate is probably $12.5 to $13 an inch.
In diameter. So if somebody was looking at a 48-inch pipe, we would take that times 13. And that would be one joint repair.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's a good estimate for people.
Yes.
And now that for a standard, because there are 3 different sizes, is that for a standard? And then we go up from there?
Yes, that's for a standard, and then you go up for there. And then there's also additional costs for how many bands you would have. So if you have, typically they come with 2 bands, 2 retaining bands. But if you run into areas where you have high flow, high water table flow, a lot of infiltration coming in, you would add additional bands. So the price will also increase with the number of bands you use. So
Yeah.
that's why we like to say it's project specific.
Yep. And when we're looking at jobs with anyone on this call, whether it's myself or you guys directly, we'll work with people and we'll have to collect all this information so then we can quote the project.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. A lot of times we're compared to chemical grout as an alternative. And the thing we like to point out about chemical grout is it's a very short-term solution. It costs more per year of service because it's more expensive than the internal joint seal when you compare it that it only lasts 3 to 5 years and it's not 100% watertight. When you look at the internal joint seal, because it has a service life of 50 years, it costs less per year of service and it is watertight. So that's the comparison that a lot of times people compare us to.
Okay.
So right now, these are the DOTs we're approved with. Ohio, Michigan, Virginia, New Mexico, Tennessee, Caltrans, Minnesota, Nevada, Utah, and Kentucky.
Okay, perfect. And I believe we actually have someone from UDOT on the phone, and that's a state or that we work with as well as Nevada. But this is great. Yep. And we'll be adding to this list, as we mentioned earlier. Heather and I are working on more and more states right now to get this product approved.
Yes.
So this is a concrete job, it looks like.
Yes, this was a job we did in Dayton, Ohio, where you can see there is an offset and we went in and put a seal in. And actually it looks like in the bottom picture, there is a sleeve in that. You can see where the seal actually extends.
Mm-hmm. And that probably helped that large offset inside the pipe.
Correct. Correct.
And here's a corrugated project.
Here's a corrugated piece of pipe in Ohio as well. And again, when you use corrugated metal, that either has to be filled with the hydraulic cement or some type of rubber to fill in those corrugated spots before you put a seal in. But as you can see, it can still be done.
Yeah.
Here's another ODOT project where you can see we've done multiple seals down the pipe. And the bottom picture shows you that there's multiple seals, and it also shows you the bands in the pipe and the seal actually before it's been installed. So that's how it's shipped. The seals are wound up tightly, and the bands you just take in there, those are 2-piece bands because you can't get a single piece in there. So you can see there's, I don't know if the picture is easy to see, but you can see there's a break in the band. So those are 2-piece bands.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
This is a Michigan DOT project where we did, this project was done under 94 in Michigan. They had a problem with a bunch of sinkholes. So we went in and did this project. There was like 300 and some seals that needed to be done. So that job was completed, I believe, in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So that's when
that looks like a big pipe too.
It was big pipe.
The guy standing there.
Excuse me, just another shot of the same project.
Okay. Similar, you've got some joint separation, a little offset.
This is one that was done in Florida. I think it's probably hard to see the joint seal down there.
Yeah.
But it just shows you some offsets. This shows you a Florida project. Typical reinforced concrete pipe with the joint seal.
Elliptical pipe.
And this shows you how they're cleaning the joint.
Uh-huh.
You know, you wire brush, you make sure you clean it depending on where that seal has to sit. So this kind of gives you a little bit of an example. This is in Louisville, Kentucky. Shows you the corroded pipe, and then you can see how all the joints were lined down that pipe.
Yeah.
On the top right.
Here's a completed.
Same project, yes, completed picture, correct. This was for the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet in Grayson County. We did this project 5 years ago and went back and did an inspection on it. It looked absolutely perfect. The only thing you could see were cobwebs where no one had been in the pipe. Absolutely perfect.
Huh.
This is in Virginia for the Floyd district. Some culverts.
Yep, you can see the seals in there.
They're perfect. They never change. And that's all of our examples.
Yeah. If there's any last minute questions, does anyone have anything else? I think that I've got through all the ones that were sent in and what you guys have submitted during the presentation. I'll double check chat here. Does using HydraTite leave the pipe with the diameter of the smallest part of the offset joint?
Read that to me again.
Does using HydraTite leave the pipe with the diameter of the smallest part of the offset joint? Trying to. Well, if it's offset, all you're doing is kind of just changing the flow slightly, right? You're not changing, the pipe diameter doesn't change.
The pipe diameter does not change.
You're just covering that lost lip slightly.
Right.
So it would, from one pipe to the next, all you're kind of doing in my mind is you're just slightly changing the flow of the water.
Right, and covering up that gap.
Yeah.
You would have the seal would cover up the gap in between those offsets.
Yeah.
I don't know if I understand the question. Sorry.
I think I understand it. I think I was just gonna say, was wondering if it would cause a bottleneck at the point of the seal. I guess if the water, if it was, I guess the question, if I'm picturing it right, is so let's say your offset from the inlet to outlet, your offset went up and you've got to put that seal this way. You're creating the flow to go up now a little bit, but it's already having that issue. So it's already flowing and then the water's infiltrating into the ground. So what you're doing is just stopping that infiltration of the ground so it goes up and over.
Correct.
I think I get what he's asking. So hold on, it looks like I might have someone raising a hand. Can you shoot your question into the question box? Okay. Maybe the hand raise was on accident. All right, I think it must have been on accident because I don't see any questions coming in. Thank you so much, Heather. This was super helpful. I know this is a product we're really excited about at TV Pipe Solutions. I think you and I are gonna do wonderful things in the Northwest with this.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, and thank you everybody for attending.
Yes, thank you guys. This will be available recorded on our website later today. For those of you interested, I am going to be doing a Reline Live with the CEO and president of TV Pipe Solutions on Thursday. I'm going to pick his brain about why he started this company, what got him into the Reline industry, why he's interested in it. So if you guys want to join Brett Eckert and I on Thursday, we will be the Reline Live, and next week we'll be bringing on Spiralite as a guest. So you can register for all those on tvpipesolutions.com as well. And then Heather's information will also be available in the follow-up thank you for attending email you guys are going to get tomorrow. So you can contact her or I if you guys need anything. Thank you.
Thank you.